Agatha, you wrote to me about a spiritual experience that you've had.
Hmm.
You described it in a number of ways, the horizontal becoming vertical and a number of things like that, okay? And so what I'd like to have you do, if you would, so those listening in can learn from this, what your experience was about. Just talk about it for a little bit, could you?
Yeah, this was that happened in 1989. Yeah, 1989, and it was I was driving in the car, and I was driving in a really narrow valley, or a valley with a very narrow entrance, and it then opened up. And I had music in my car playing, and I had it rather loud, and I was just really kind of going with the music. And then I entered that widening valley, and it was late fall, and the trees were just magnificently golden. And the first snow was on the Rocky Mountains, and the Yellowstone River was just meandering. It was just so beautiful. And for some reason, I don't know exactly what and how that happened, but all of a sudden, all the colors and everything became almost transparent, like when you look in the water in a lake and you see the reflection, it just started to move all like that. And then all of a sudden, what happened was I felt like the time when you normally experience that kind of as a linear, it just collapsed and it just became like that. It had a sense of being vertical.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, and it's really difficult to explain exactly what happened and what it felt like. It was such a profound experience. Um, I've always felt like it was an almost like a download of knowing. And it's really hard. It was like, it's almost like holographic something. It's
Yes.
really hard to start somewhere because it feels like you have no idea where to start because you just have to kind of pull one plug or one entrance point, and you have to make it linear when you talk about it. That is the difficulty
Yeah.
because it was a whole complete experience. And the first sensation was, I'm a thought. I'm not
Ah.
real. I'm a thought. And it was so complete, so deep, like none of this is real. This is all made up. This is thought up.
Wait. Just so we have, I'm very fascinated by that. Um, you are a thought, and when you say this is all made up, I don't think you mean the experience you're having is all made up. I
No, no.
think you're saying this experience in a body that where you're not a thought, where you're an actual physical body,
Yeah,
is made up. Is that what you mean to
yeah,
say?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Everything that I think, everything that I experience, it's all like made up. It's like in a dream.
Yes.
You know your own mind makes that stuff up while you're dreaming. And this was the same kind of experience. It's like this all made up. None of this is real.
Well, what?
And
Go ahead.
I was also very clearly feeling that I was not real either. And that
Well,
was a very interesting experience.
but let me get behind that. You were not real, meaning you, as identified by your body, isn't
Right.
real. Is that what you
Hmm.
meant?
Yeah,
You,
yeah.
but how does that equate, if at all, to you as a thought? Is that thought real, or did you think about that?
No, that thought is not even real either. So where I came eventually after I just kind of my heart exploded and I felt like I was totally out of my normal constricted self, I felt this incredible love first, and then there was this deep silence.
Yes.
In which there was almost no movement, no sound, silence. Later I have heard people, the closest that I've heard people say is like potential. And that is what I understand of it, that how I felt like it was potential. But it was not moving and it had no sound.
You also said something very early in this, in your comments, that you talked about this vertical thing, and you used the phrase, it was right now. That was a phrase you used. It was right now. Yeah. I'm not sure what you meant about that, but I want to get behind that for a moment. Right now could mean there is only now. There is no such thing as time, no past, no future. Is that what you meant?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. That's how it felt. It felt like time is made up, space is made up, I am made up, the world is made up. It's all made up.
Yeah. Okay.
And I, when I came back, my mind could not wrap itself around it. It could not understand what that, it was so clear when I saw it. But my mind couldn't understand it.
Well,
but there was this deep knowing about it.
So let me get behind that. When you say your mind couldn't understand it, are you saying that your mind as you perceive it within your body could not understand it?
Yeah.
Your mind, when compared to all the other education you've ever had while in the body and going through school and learning life and all that stuff, that mind could not understand it.
No.
Okay.
Exactly.
Now, okay, and I'm getting kind of theoretical here, but I'm fascinated by this. Let's get back to the fact that you were a thought, and you thought that wasn't even real. Okay, so
no.
I want to get beyond that. Yet there was this overwhelming sense of love. Everything was very loving. Was that love real?
I later have come to understand that love is real in the sense that that big silence, I have come to call that consciousness.
Okay.
Where nothing moves and nothing sounds, nothing vibrates yet. And then the first movement of consciousness is love. And that is the first movement that comes out of that silence, out of that stillness. And that is love.
Okay.
And that is, in a sense, more real than anything that you can imagine be down the line.
Okay. That's what I want to get to for a moment. In my many interviews with people, in my own experiences and so on, and I'm going to tell you my thoughts, but I don't want to have these thoughts be your thoughts. I need to have you respond to them given your experience, okay? So my experience is that loving presence is what's real. It is so much more real than this reality we think we have running around inside these separate, seemingly separate bodies. Okay. But while we're in it, like to use the idea of a dream you talked about, while we're in this dream, it seems very real while we're here. Our bodies seem very real. We have to feed them and take care of them and, all of this, okay? And we spend lots of time, dwelling on their well-being and comfort and whatever. They are very, 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 very real, okay?
Yeah.
Yet, by comparison, that loving experience looked back at this one and said, that's a non-event.
Peanuts.
You think it's real, and I understand you, God bless you, okay?
Yeah.
But you are mistaken. you have a perceptual error big time.
Yeah.
The real reality is this nothing but love state. Now, okay, now that's my experience. Don't let me make that your experience. You tell me how you would put your words around that, or object to it, or correct it, or whatever.
Yeah. So to me, that really loving experience is, to me, the journey back home. That is the most incredible aspect of our beings. However, beyond that is that potentiality.
Okay, great.
Where that even embraces that,
Mm-hmm.
and doesn't have an. It's difficult. The only person that I've ever had put a really, after this experience, I was just looking and reading. It's like, who can explain that? I had no person that I could go to process this. But years later, I heard this teacher say, and he uses the word enlightenment. I don't really necessarily like that word, but okay, he uses that. He says, at the moment of enlightenment, everything falls away. Everything. Suddenly, the ground beneath you is gone, and you are alone. You are alone because you have realized that there is no other. There is only that. And you are that. And that's exactly the experience that I had. You know, in this whole description, the word love doesn't come in, because he describes also that